with the exteriors. Arun, I'll ask you first. What do you think about the exterior space?
It's a very big house. We see that it's got an outhouse.
Yeah.
It's got a very big entry, very imposing formal entry. Then it's got big yard space in the front and the sides, and not much of landscape except the grass jointed pavers and little bit of paving. But I think the edges have a little bit of greenery, but it doesn't suffice to the scale of the house. The roof forms are very interesting for this house from the front. They have a lot of gables, very different looking gable windows where the roofs overlap on each other, and there's a big veranda. It's done very neatly. And they have kind of positioned the porch, the roof forms, everything in a decent looking composition, and it does a lot of justice to the overall scale of the house.
I would call this house a modern Kerala house. Like, it's not traditional. They've, with the roof form, with the terracotta tile roof, they've tried to bring in that style, and it suits our setting. Very beautiful and interesting roof form they've tried out, and it looks very impressive from the road. Right from the main gate, you see those stacked stones. They've placed it horizontally. They've played with that cladding stone. But when you enter the house, I feel there are it's a very formal house, and you have a tree house and a kettle shaped well and a padipura. It's too playful for a formal setting. That could have been like, they have a lot of space. They could have kind of created a kids play area which is not really seen from the front yard. Doesn't affect the view of it. Once there is more greenery, it would be like firmly rooted to that site. It would look more beautiful.
Anna, if I ask you about the interiors, what is your impression?
You walk through the main door, which is very impressive, into the foyer. I kind of feel it's too big a space. Suddenly you're lost. It's huge. It's a huge space, and you have a tall, slender velaka in the middle. Yeah. Something bigger would have been right for that kind of space. You move into the living room, suddenly this grandeur is lost. It's too simple. There are a lot of courtyards, a lot of fountains inside the house. All that makes it very interesting. Then next to the dining table, there's a shelf just for crystal. It looks very impressive. And then upstairs, you see there is a family bar and a family room and a bar. And they've used Italian marbles everywhere. It's a very grand space, but like I said, the living room for such a formal setting could have been made grander. That's what I say.
Arun, what would you like to add?
It's a very lavishly done house. They've gone spending a lot of wood, especially it looks teak, then a lot on wooden ceiling, and the flooring is very exquisite Italian marble, and all that is a very lavishly done house. One thing I noticed, there is a sudden change of style after the entry foyer. Entry foyer is done like a classic entry foyer situation in a palace or in spaces like that. Suddenly the furniture changes when you go to the dining area. The shelves kind of have very straight line edges, and some furniture also looks very straight line. So either they should have followed one style. It doesn't look alarmingly different, but you are trying to expect some kind of connect when you enter the house, and that should continue somewhere. So this kind of wavers off in between.